Welcome back to the Interstellar channel. Today we're going to be speaking about 4 major life decisions that you have to get correct. A lot of people spend a lot of time worrying about decisions that have little to no impact within their life, and not enough time worrying about decisions that actually can impact and change the whole direction of their life. If you get these ones right, if you can get them correct or relatively correct, your life should be okay. I say should because it's not a guarantee. And I'm going to try and go into an order which is like least to most important, but let's just see how it comes out. So the first one is where you decide to live, and by that I don't mean whether it's your parents' place or whether it's with your friends or an apartment by yourself. I mean literally the town where you decide to live. It's not as important as it once used to be. Let me explain why it was important. It was important because let's say you had a certain goal in mind to make a lot of money or to I don't know, be an entrepreneur or to have a business or to be career driven for whatever reason it is or whatever the goal is. Generally speaking, highly successful people within those industries have migrated to certain parts of the world, whether it's Dubai or Miami. Even like content creation, for example. Like if you live in a town where maybe not a lot of people are doing it, it might be a little bit harder to break that sort of mental barrier. I put it as like an aura. Like there's like an aura of each location around the world, and if you want to be highly successful, it might increase your chances by going there. You might not have to live there. Maybe just visit there a few times a year or once a year, and that might improve uh, your mind and get the creative juices flowing. But the reason why I don't think it's as important is we live in a time of the internet, of social media, where you can almost access anything around the world. You can transport yourself, train, plane, car. You can get almost anywhere relatively quickly. So, opportunities aren't really limited just to where you are anymore, but it is still somewhat important. This decision is still somewhat important. The next decision is your career, the career that you end up pursuing. And a lot of people are a little bit confused around this. You might not particularly want to even pursue a career, which is actually completely fine. But the field that you enter, there's a few things that you want to think about around those fields. Obviously, with the improvement of technology and the innovation of AI, a lot of people are worried about their jobs. I don't think AI is going to take over for another 20 to 40 years, personally. I mean, I might be completely wrong, but I believe that people will have to do something to protect the average person. But, anyways, the career that you go into, there's things that I look at when I'm looking at certain careers, which is the longevity and the necessity of the career. How needed is it, and how needed is it around the world? If I decided to do a certain career, let's just say, for example, accounting, right? Accountants are needed everywhere. Currently, there's a bit of a it's not oversaturation, it's undersaturation. I think I don't know if that's a word, but there's an under saturation of people going into accounting because it's actually quite hard, and Gen Z aren't really going into it, so they're offering more and more incentives to get people in. But that's just one example. It could be whether the career that you do, you can do it remotely because then you can travel the world. I know a lot of salespeople are traveling the world because they're just doing everything remotely, which is very, very cool. You should think about the job, the career that you want to go into, even if it's a business. Is there longevity within this business, or is it a bunch of people selling a course online and it looks good? When it comes to those things, let's say specifically for business, the thing that I'm looking at the most is how reliable is it on other people? Do other people need to be involved? Like, for example, if I had to build a business where I was selling something, I would be a little more hesitant than something where I could generate money without doing that. That's a hard one. We'll explain it another time. But yeah, think about the job or career or business that you're going to go into and the necessity of it. These final two are so important. They're kind of interlinked, but they are so important. Who you decide to have in your inner circle is one of them, and that is very important. Let's say a group of 5 people. If 4 of those 5 are smoking every day, they're generally quite unhealthy, eat out all the time, not making great life decisions, you will more than likely be the 5th. If you have 4 people who, are working towards a certain goal, working towards their business, they work very hard, they're in the gym, you will more than likely be like that person. The habits and the vibrations, they're contagious. There was a time, and I don't really, I'd love to say 4 or 5 if I had 4 or 5. Like, it's like 2 or 3 really. But for me, like, these people are so important because when you're down, it will be the difference between getting back up and making progress in your life and staying down and crying your sorrows with you. It's different. Maybe it is a little bit different between genders as well. It might be. I can't really speak on it. But yeah, maybe it is a bit different. And the final one, which again it interlinks, is the person you decide to be with romantically, the partner that you have or that you choose. A lot of people are building these two almost on face value. The people that they're building these relationships with haven't got an ounce of substance within them. They don't want almost even better for the other person. Like for me, I've got one friend in particular, one brother, and every time I'm doing something, he will always offer feedback every single time because it's something that he knows about. He'll always be telling me the next best thing or how to improve, just different things to help me out. Even like when I wanted to cut weight, I was like 15 kilograms heavier. This guy was always looking out for me, almost telling me what to and what not to do. This stuff is really important, and even more important than the first two, because this gives you a large portion of mental peace. This is almost controlling whether you have that mental clarity or peace or not. Now, it doesn't mean to say, go and build your friend group with already successful people and people that are, on like they look like they're doing great, because people do change. But it's more so about the habits and the attitudes. Internally, when you look at their attitudes and their habits, how do they behave? If there are people who, let's say, treat other people negatively, or they're always talking about other people, they're always gossiping. These are general habits and attitudes that aren't really good. It almost has nothing to do with how much money they earn. It's just almost about the type of person that they are. But these 4 decisions you need to think about. You need to have a good, long conversation within your mind, deciding on these factors. The final 2 can be hard because humans want companionship. But every single time, I would rather choose to be lonely than to be around people that aren't going in the same direction as where I'm going. It's stubborn. And that doesn't mean I'm not going to say hello to people. But I would literally rather sit by myself in a park, on a bench, reading, or just enjoying nature than to be around people for the sake of it. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.